Well, nice to meet you. Welcome everybody here at at the Canadian Memorial of Crest Farm in Passchendaele. We're currently standing on a memorial which has been established mid-1920s, about the same period of time as during which the Memorial has been established in the northern part of France. Tonight, November 10th, 2006, we will be celebrating for the second time a ceremony which is called Passchendaele. Now, as you probably know, in English, the name of the village, Passchendaele, has a second meaning, the Dale of the Passion. So we try to commemorate especially the involvement of the Canadian soldiers here. The Battle of Passchendaele, spread out over 3 months. The last step of those 3 months was being done by Canadian forces. So what we want to do is to focus on one particular soldier of the Canadian forces who died here on these fields around here. So every year it's our intention to read out the story of one particular soldier. Tonight we are very lucky as such that we can welcome the daughter of a British soldier whose story is going to be read out as well. Her mother was pregnant 3 months while her father was killed here on Flanders fields. So not only do we read out the story of the Canadian soldiers, but next to that always the story of one soldier of the Commonwealth countries. So this year it's going to be a British soldier as well. And for the first time also we've decided to read out the story of one German soldier, because after all those boys were here because they had to come. Many of the soldiers, honestly, if you could have asked them what their feeling was about the war, they wanted to be back home. Whether you were German or British or Canadian, didn't make any difference. The feeling was that they wanted to be back home. So that's the first thing we focus on. After the ceremony here, we will be walking in a cortege up to the village square, where a small ceremony will be organized in front of the Belgian Memorial to commemorate the Belgian soldiers who lost their lives during the Great War. And then afterwards, the ending of the ceremony is that the Canadian flag will be handed over officially to the Canadian ambassador. So we hope to turn this into an annual event, and I'm sure that next year we will have an even larger attendance, because next year, 90th anniversary of the Battle of Passchendaele. For the ones who would have an interest in the commemoration services for next year, I would all advise you to surf to the website of Passchendaele, which is www.passchendaele.be. And there you can click on a PDF file where you learn all about the different services. Already set are 5 weekends focusing on different aspects of the Battle of Passchendaele. We start with the Battle of Messines, actually, which was preceding Passchendaele in June. And then there's an official opening weekend in July. And then the first main weekend, I would say, in the commemoration service of Passchendaele itself is going to be in August, with the emphasis on the Scottish involvement there. So there will be a tattoo, there will be Scottish Highland Games. So an awful lot is going to be organized around it. All going well, a new memorial is going to be established on Friesenberg Ridge. A memorial carved in Scottish granite, which is going to be brought to Flanders, to be erected here as a lasting memory of the Scottish soldiers who fell here, mainly on July 31st, the first day of the Battle of Passchendaele. And then we move on to October the 4th. That's a special weekend for the Anzac forces, so Australia and New Zealand will be put in the spotlight. To end then on November the 10th and the 11th. First of all, the ceremony here at Crest Farm, and then of course armistice ceremonies as well. Next to that, for instance, tomorrow there's a book fair here in the village of Passchendaele, the commemoration services in Ypres as well as in Zonnebeke, for instance. There's an awful lot going on. Now, what we try to achieve is that people don't forget. The world has to learn that a war never brings a solution. Let's convince people that they should talk with one another, and not with arms, but with words.
They should be on